833-34-BIBLE.
The cruise line industry being shut down from the pandemic not only hurts workers, it hurts tourist-dependent communities. Jeremy Scott from the Oregon, U.S.
It's time for Farm and Ranch Headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Economic disruptions of the pandemic have placed great hardship on many U.S. families. The National Peanut Board said at least 3 cents per gram of protein still is coming in from peanut butter as an incredible value when compared to meat, tuna, dairy, or other tree nuts. Advancements by the American peanut farmers in yield and efficiency have placed them among the lowest cost producers of peanuts in the world. The price of the peanut butter, when adjusted for inflation, cost the consumer 25% less in 2020 than it did in 1995. They also said a recent survey by the J.M. Smucker Company says the pandemic accelerated the growth of peanut butter by 7.1% for the 52 weeks ended November the 1st before the pandemic. So an increase in snacking, increase in peanut butter, and all of that makes peanut farmers happy.
Fly season is almost here. Fortunately, there's a fly control solution ready to bite back. Corathon Insecticide Cattle Ear Tags. Corathon Insecticide controls horn and face flies on beef cattle, which in one study resulted in an 11.81-pound increase in weight gain over untreated calves. Bite back at flies with Corathon Insecticide Cattle Ear Tags. See product label for complete product information, indications, and application instructions.
Welcome to the All In for Citrus podcast.
There's a new resource available that brings all of Florida's citrus research together, delivering it right to you on your computer, phone, or tablet. Introducing the All In for Citrus podcast from UF IFAS in partnership with Southeast AgNet. The monthly series spans the Sunshine State with research project updates from the UF IFAS statewide citrus team. Listen to the latest episode by searching All In for Citrus on iTunes, your favorite podcasting application, or at citrusindustry.net.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We can expect a brief morning shower. Otherwise, after a cloudy start, we'll have sunshine with a high of 82 to 86. Mainly clear tonight, low 55 to 61. And a nice day Tuesday with sunshine mixing with some clouds. High tomorrow 86 to 89. Wednesday, look for some sunshine, then turning cloudy. High on Wednesday, 85 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club-style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to hour number 2 of Ocala Talks. I am your host, Tom Schmitz, back live in the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance at the Paddock Mall in the Brick City Beautiful, Ocala, Florida. It's been 3 weeks since I got to say that. I was, kind of jonesing for that. It's tough, folks, when you get your L4, L5, and S1 all fused at the same time. It makes it a little tough on you. Guy who could care less about how tough it is on me, because every day him and the men and women of the Marion County Sheriff's Office go out and their lives are on the line every day. So a little back surgery is probably just not even stressful to this guy. The Public Information Officer for the Marion County Sheriff's Office, Paul Bloom, joins us. Paul, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Tom. Glad you're back in the saddle, buddy.
It's part of the. I asked my doctor. I said, "When can I go back to work?" He said, "Whenever you feel like going back to work." I said, "Well, I don't ever feel like going back to work." He goes, "Well, that's on you." So how you been, Paul?
I've been doing great. It's it's been busy, but that's the way I like it, I guess. Just staying busy all the time.
You know something I saw over the weekend? It was on 2020 Friday night. And the first person they show, 2020 comes on, they set you up for this show they got on, and the first person they show, he goes, "We did everything we could, but we could have done more." And then it fans away from him. Don Maines, first guy on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
Former Marion County Sheriff Don Maines. Well, he was working for the FDLE. He's retired from the FDLE,
Right.
and he was talking about the Danny.
Danny Rawlings?
Danny Rawlings case. They did the 2-hour thing in Gainesville on the Danny Rawlings case. And you go back, you see some of the footage, and you see the footage because Danny Rawlings was arrested for robbing a Winn-Dixie on 441.
Right.
That's how he got arrested. And then, they started listening to his tapes, and they found his campsite where he was singing songs about how he'd went insane and killed people and everything. But he was arrested right here in Ocala for robbing. And you go back, you look at the old videos and the late chief of police, Greg Graham, who was a sergeant with the Ocala Police Department, he comes walking across the screen. He comes around. I'm looking at people that I now know that are captains and majors and chiefs and sheriffs, and you see some of these people, you go, I stopped, I go, there's Don Maines. Don Maines looked 30, oh wait, he was 30 years younger. But you don't think one of the worst serial killers in our area ever. And I mean, we've got Ted Bundy come through here. We had the Warnos woman that was killing people on the interstates.
Yeah.
But Danny Rawlings was a animal.
He was, and you think, in his job, when we tell these new deputies when they're learning the job, look, the most mundane thing you can do, arresting a shoplifter. What did this guy do prior to that?
Yeah.
And so everything we do in our job is supposed to take serious and take safety into consideration every single time. And it's exhausting in a shift, to do that, but you have to. But it's interesting you say that. There's been a lot of interest here lately. Last week we had Discovery Channel here filming with us, doing an Eileen Warnos recap on that, and very interested over there in the UK. The UK can't get enough of American law enforcement. So
well, I think though it's the UK likes Florida Man. I think that's what
he's very popular.
If I was, and I don't know why a television producer hadn't done this yet, but couldn't you just have a channel that was called Florida Man?
You could easily have a channel called Florida Man.
I mean, it wouldn't even be a problem.
No, your topics, your material will be just free. It's every single day.
Just every single. I mean, just in Marion County.
Yeah.
Some of the knuckleheads, and look, Sheriff Woods talks about it. And knuckleheads mean, that you'll have job security.
This is true. It's true. Yeah, we've all done some knuckleheaded things, and some of us just haven't been caught.
How big?
When we were younger.
How big and expansive was this drug bust that just happened with the drug task force and all? 83 arrests, a kilo of 3 pounds of fentanyl off the street, a kilo and a half of cocaine off the street, a kilo of heroin off the street. I mean, and then they have marijuana and everything. I mean, how big a drug bust was that in Marion County? Or is it one of those where, we have a major drug bust, but for every 83 we take off the street, 166 take their place?
And that's true. That's always been. There's always going to be somebody that wants to step up and be the bad guy, I guess. But hopefully it's sending a clear message to these others that would be, you're going to get caught. But the drug unit, the sheriff's office, I know Sheriff Woods, he's just going to be more proud of them. They that amount of fentanyl alone, you think about how many
deaths is that going to? How many lives is that going to save by getting that off the street?
Absolutely. And if you got to see that press conference, there was a glass case there full of some meth and some
right.
And it might as well have been a glass case full of poisonous vipers. You think it's just that much death is sitting there in our community, and they're able to get that off the streets. And very proud of the work these men and women do there with the drug unit. But that fentanyl alone has killed hundreds. You think 2 or 3 people a week were dying from a guy carrying a knife. If we had a Danny Rawlings running around this town killing 2 or 3 people a week, and we weren't able to stop it, they'd be wanting the sheriff's badge, our badges. They'd be upset. The public would be upset.
100%. Yeah. If the same amount of people died in 1 year from a guy that was going around, remember the Washington, D.C. sniper?
Right.
They were riding around with the trunk and shooting. Yeah. If they had killed the same amount of people as fentanyl-laced heroin and cocaine all killed, just in our county.
That's right.
The governor would have removed the sheriff.
Right.
The governor would have probably thrown all the county commissioners out of work, all the city councils out of work. There'd have been a whole shakeup of government from the very tops all the way down.
It's a silent killer. People are getting this drug. Some of them not even knowing they're getting this drug when they're illegally purchasing marijuana or some other drugs. It's laced with this fentanyl, and it's super deadly. That amount that they found is enough to kill thousands upon thousands. And it's the scary thought is that we know there's still more out there. So they're working hard every day to find it and find those responsible. And the good news is we've had the federal agents that have come in with us and work alongside with our agents. And when you get local charges, yeah, you can get some time. But when you get federal charges,
day to day, baby,
you get a lot more time.
One day for one day.
Yeah, it's a lot stricter penalties.
There's no restrictions on overcrowded prisons or anything, because like in Georgia, I don't make any bones about it. When I was in my early 30s, I was not a good guy. You know my history. I'm a recovering addict of over 20 years because I hate cocaine. But the smell of it was fantastic. So, it was one of those things that you just did. And I had to hit rock bottom, Glock to the back of my head by a friend of mine who's now a major with the Bullitt County Sheriff's Department. And the electronic door shut behind me. But I got lucky. I got a very serious sentence. But because Georgia was under a federal judge's mandate for prison overcrowding, for every one day I did, I got 9 days credit. That don't happen on the federal level.
No. Yeah, you're going to do some serious time, and by the time you get out of prison, we'll be driving hover cars. So, yeah, we're just very proud of the work they're doing to keep these guys, keep this drug off the street and saving the lives of so many.
It's just when you can't even quantify what 3 pounds of fentanyl.
Unreal.
How many deaths that could cause? We're talking about thousands of people that could have been saved, their lives saved by this much fentanyl getting off the street.
That's right. Just a small amount, just touching it, not ingesting it, not smoking, not dying, just touching it can absorb through your skin.
Well, hadn't y'all have? I think, if I remember correctly, didn't you have an officer here 2 or 3 years ago that almost died because they had touched something that had fentanyl on it without realizing it and almost killed them?
Yeah, it happens all across this country,
right.
Too. It's something that we keep the Narcan in our vehicles now, every single deputy. I used to be a paramedic for Ocala Fire Rescue, and we carried Narcan on our rescue truck as a paramedic, and I rarely got to use it back in those days, but I never, ever thought that every single officer and deputy out there on the street would be carrying his own Narcan to help folks that have overdosed.
What you might not know, I got a chair so I can move now.
Very good.
I got it right here.
Yeah.
Just in case. Because I've seen some people that look strung out.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me this as a show and tell thing, and I was like, you may see somebody right here at the mall fall out.
That's
you don't
right.
know. And this is a lifesaver. I'm showing a Narcan right there.
Yeah, every single day I know.
Here I got
police,
it in the radio station. That's how important, how serious this is.
It is. That could save a life, and it's important for us to keep it for ourselves if we come in contact with it. But also, we see somebody, and I'm telling you, daily between our agency, Ocala Police, Bellevue, there are several people a day that we come in contact with that have overdosed. As a matter of fact, I was driving into work this morning, and over the dispatch radio, heard a possible overdose started happening before 8 a.m. So. It's sad that people have gotten themselves into that shape, and you hope they can recover and come out of that and make something of themselves. And there's plenty of help out there to help them do
Got
that.
the amnesty program the Ocala Police are doing, which is if you're at that wit's end and you want help, just go to the police station, walk in, say, hey, here's my drugs. I got a problem. I need help.
Yep.
They'll take your drugs from you. They'll dispose of them. They'll get you a bed in a facility that will help you try to overcome this addiction with no jail time or anything. Now, if you get pulled over and you got drugs on you, you go, hold on, I got a problem. No, you do have a problem. It's called bail money. But if you take it upon yourself to walk in and say, hey, I got a problem. I can't beat this. I need help. There's lots of opportunities for help in Marion County.
That's right. That's a proactive approach, which we want to do. Reactive is just after the fact.
You're not going to. Greg Graham, the late police chief of Ocala, said you're not going to arrest your way out of this problem.
That's right.
And that's what we've been trying to do. The war on drugs that Ronald Reagan started in 1982. And by the way, the Drug Task Force doing a great job on the war on drugs. But like we said, 83 arrests. There's 166 guys ready to be the bad guy now.
Yes.
You arrest one, two will step up to take their place.
Yep. Yeah, I know our drug unit has gone into homes that were drug houses, busted the house, did a search warrant, arrested everybody, cleared it out. Within 2 days, somebody else is set up in that same house doing the same thing.
Right.
So yeah, it happens, but we're going to keep after it as fast as we can.
How are the numbers right now, though, overall for crime in Marion County?
Well, crime rate in Marion County is one of the lowest in Florida, actually, and I think some of that reflects in the market, I'm trying to say here, the real estate market.
Right.
So the real estate market is booming here. People are trying to come to this county, and one of the big reasons is that crime rate is low. We can't do it by ourselves. We always say this. We engage the public through social media, through anything we can to help them and to help us. So it's a community effort, and it's going well. We've seen a decrease, and we continue to see a decrease in the crime rate, even with the influx of folks moving in. I just driving around here, born and raised here. Remember driving out here to the mall, and
well, you remember when this was a horse farm.
There was not much out here, yeah. That's right. And we've had so many people moving in here, and the numbers, I hear different numbers every week, but it's growing like crazy. But to maintain that low crime rate, it's a lot of work on the hard-working men and women of law enforcement. We appreciate everyone's efforts, and but also our citizens coming alongside us and helping.
How big is community partnerships?
Well, I tell you what, I was telling my son, I have some teenage boys, and I was telling them, I said, there's things in life that are valuable, but one of the most valuable things I've found in my life are contacts, people that are able to pitch in their particular gift or specialty and help you in your project. And contacts in this world, community contacts, we've had so many businesses that have come alongside and want to help us when we're doing something. We just mention it, and we typically get overwhelmed with the response. And I love it because to me it shows the support for law enforcement that just encourages us. We're out there doing a job that not a lot of folks want to do. So when you see some encouragement, that's good. And then also that these business owners, these individuals want to see a clean, better community and a safer community for their posterity.
I saw a video a couple weeks ago of a kid that I've known since he was a kid pitching baseball at Highlands. He's now a Ocala police officer. And him and another police officer were shooting hoops with kids at a little community area. And people, I put that out and somebody literally put on Facebook with me, yeah, but you never see the sheriff's department doing stuff like that. And I went, whoa. I personally, me myself, I was in Orange Springs about 5 years ago. They got a little park right there in Orange Springs, and people don't realize the Putnam County, Marion County line is right there in Orange Springs.
That's right.
Okay, but there's a little community park right there and everything, a little convenience store right there in all in Orange Springs. And we were there, and we were there having a picnic and birthday party for a friend of mine because I lived in Hawthorne at the time and everything. So this was probably more than 6 years ago. This is probably 15 years ago. But still, it shows that that it does happen, and I'm sure it happens more than I know about. But a Marion County Sheriff's officer pulled up to the park. Now the park's probably got 50 people in it, of all there were African Americans there were Asian, big community thing. And he walks up and goes, "We've had a report that people have thrown the football in the road 2 or 3 times, and there's some concerned citizens. Is that?" And we were like, "Yeah, that happened." He goes, "Who did it?" So we little kid, and he was like, and he was he goes, "Well, let me see you throw the football." The kid threw the football. It was a horrible little wobbler and everything. He goes, "What? Obviously, why you're throwing it in the road, you're gripping it wrong." And he spent 15 minutes with this kid, showing his kid how to throw a football and everything. Now, nobody had cell phones to record it or anything.
Yeah.
But this officer didn't have to do that. He got a report that there was maybe children in danger because the football kept flying out. And by the way, if you've ever been down 315, it's a major highway. There's traffic goes up and down it.
Yeah.
But he could have said, "Okay, hey, just make sure the kids don't get in the road." But he took time out to say, "Hey, who threw that?" Well, obviously, here's the reason why. And you never think about how long that could go. The kid he showed that to, the reason I'm telling the story, the kid he showed that to just graduated from Florida Junior College of Jacksonville up and thing, out of their police thing, and just got a job with the Duval County Sheriff's Department, Jacksonville Police Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you the day he decided to become a police officer is when that Marion County Sheriff's officer taught him how to throw a football.
Yeah, they say going an extra mile goes miles,
Yeah.
and that's a great story. I love to hear that. grew up.
And I forget the officer's name at the time. You
never do. Yeah.
You don't think about those things. But it was an African American officer, and he made an imprint on this kid's life for that 15 minutes. That kid's now just graduated and became a sheriff with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Kids don't forget stuff easily. They remember something significant like that, and what's the impact now that this young man's going to have on his community? It's great. We have a place on our website called MCSO Mentions. And that's where citizens go in there, and we get it almost every day, like 2 or 3 times a week. I'm getting something sent in from the citizens. Hey, this deputy, and 99.9% of the time, I never hear anything from a deputy to say, hey, by the way, I was out doing
because
this
they're doing their job.
Right. And so we get pictures from citizens, and hey, this person don't know me, but he stopped to help me do this or talk to my child, and that means more for me as a supervisor if my deputies are out there doing something like that, because it's impactful. That's how we get that community to come alongside of us.
Well, the video from the Ocala police officer shooting hoops, that was filmed by a parent in that apartment complex, who then sent it to the Ocala Police Department.
Yeah.
The officers they were just doing their job.
That's typical.
Because if you make a friend of a child, you never know how long that friendship will last. And I've talked to Sheriff Woods about this. I've talked to Chief of Police Greg Graham before he passed about it. I've talked to Chief of Police Mike Balkin about it now. That relationship you make with a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old, it may not come to where they become police officers and everything, but it may become when they're 32 or 33 and they see a crime happen, and somebody they walk up and say, hey, ooh, are you Officer Bloom? Remember when I was 10 years old, we played catch for about 15 minutes? Yeah. Well, I appreciate that so much. Let me tell you, here's what I saw.
Yeah.
And people don't think about how it can, 20 years later, a 35-year-old who was a 10-year-old at the time said, I know that cop there because he played catch for me or something. I want to help him. And it happens all the time. That one little tip may be the one that solves the case.
That's right. We hear some sad stories from some of our school resource officers that are invested in these children, and they know their particular backgrounds and what they're dealing with at their homes, and it'll break your heart. But the good news is you don't have to actually be a cop to intervene in some good child's life and do some good for them. Step in. You see somebody in need. That child, remember,
programs.
Mentor. That's right. That's right. There's a lot of things, a lot of opportunities available, and a lot of good places. Boys and Girls Club here in Ocala, some other the YMCA that have some outreach programs that are really investing their time. You can help them out too.
Now, I know y'all have I forget what it's called, but it's one where you take teenagers, and it's a scout program, and I know y'all have a different name for it.
Right, we have an Explorer program.
Explorer program, yeah. If somebody was interested in the Explorer program, how can they get involved?
I was just talking to their supervisor last week, Friday, about this. We're doing some more recruiting for that. It's a great thing. It's not just showing up and sitting around being bored. They're taking these guys, teaching them how to do traffic stops. When these 16-year-old kids, how we do traffic stops, going through our training division, learning a lot of things about the law enforcement life and the job. So if they decide in a few years, hey, this is maybe what I want to do, they're way ahead. They're going to be miles ahead. So it's an exciting program. I think if a kid has just a little bit of interest in being a law enforcement officer, hey, go on our website, sign up for that Explorers program. They won't regret it. It is very fun, and moms and dads, encourage your child to do that. If you want your child to have some good quality in his character and demeanor, and let that be just fostered there with us, let us bring that child in the Explorer program. It's very, very good.
In this day and age we're in, with the woke movement and people talking about defunding. I just saw where the city of Baltimore just cut its budget for the police by 28%. The state legislature has just passed. They took the Bill of Rights away from police officers and everything in Maryland, overrode the governor's veto to do it. There's the city of Jacksonville, I think, has cut its police budget by 12% or something like that. There's a movement away from policing, or it seems to be there's a desire to move away from policing, and a lot of it is because of 30-second videos that you don't get to see the whole context of what happened, everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, 9 minutes and some odd seconds of putting your knee in a guy's neck, we're not talking about that. That's completely different.
Yep.
Than a 30-second snippet that's been doctored to make it look like how you want it to look, whether it's the law enforcement doing it or the citizen doing it. Both can make. You can make a video. I've been extensive in video. You can make a video say what you want it to say,
sure,
with the right editing. How have y'all seen a difficulty in trying to get quality officers now, or people to even decide on law enforcement as a career?
It unfortunately hasn't been impactful. The media, social media out there that is very, like you said, as anti-cop movement. It's been effective to some point where it discourages some of these young men and women from maybe thinking about this field. But I will say, you can, as a city, as a county, we're fortunate here. We have a great governor. Again, I go back to that real estate market.
A really good governor.
Yeah, Florida's growing, and Maryland, these other states that are deciding to make these poor decisions. I think that trend will continue. But for us, we're going to continue to do our job no matter what. I'm going to do my job today, and I'm not really going to care what somebody thinks of me. If I'm doing the right thing, I'm doing the right thing, and that's at the end of the day, I got to put my head on my pillow and answer to God for it. So, any officer, any good officer in this country, loves to see justice, even if that's one of our own that goes astray and does something wrong, like these guys clearly did. We love to see justice, and we want to see that justice. So I think we can find some common ground there with these folks that say there is no justice. We want justice. We want justice. We do too.
If the truth be told, and I know this because I know a lot of you guys, and I know friends of mine up in Atlanta that are cops, and Bullitt County, Georgia, Statesboro that are cops. If the truth be told, y'all actually applaud more, maybe not more, but applaud just as hard for guys and women who are cops that have become criminals, to see them face justice and get locked up, because that takes a dirty mark off you guys as a whole. Sometimes police that are bad guys, y'all cheer for them getting justice as much, if not more, than the regular citizen that are looking for justice.
Yeah, I'll say more because it reflects on the rest of us, and it's a strange job. If I'm a delivery person, and I do something on my day off, nobody calls my boss if I'm the delivery guy. They get mad at me personally. If I did something to offend somebody on my day off, they're going to call my boss because I'm a cop. So there's a higher standard there, but we really don't mind that higher standard. That's what we signed up for. Let it be there. There should be a high standard, because we're entrusted with quite a bit. And if there's not a high standard, lower standards just lead to lower standards. So Sheriff Woods, when he came into office, made sure to make a big point of that. We take an honor oath, and that honor oath is something that we raise our right hand and promise to the world and to God that we're going to look out for each other, make sure our partner is doing the right thing. If he's doing the wrong thing, we're going to intervene. And that's super, super important.
Paul Bloom, I'm having a blank here. My back's starting to hurt.
I've been called a lot of things, Tom.
He's Public Information Officer for the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Tom. Good to see you.
It's good to be seen, believe me. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Protests erupted against police